Oh, let's see what's up here. Hang on. Oh, shit. What is it? I can't even read this. Oh my god. Oh, hang on. Bienvenue dans le chat en direct. So I have some kind of direct chat on YouTube. I'm trying to connection accéder YouTube. Hang on, guys. I'm trying to do a live stream, but all of my fucking accounts have been fucked with. I don't even remember the names and passwords. There's some over here. Let me go check. Hang on. Right back. What in the fuck? What an embarrassment. I mean, why does YouTube force me to do this shit? Oh my god. Totally embarrassing. I'm sorry, our followers, if there are any followers. Let's see if we can log in here. Spanish keyboard, that's great. Okay. What's the next issue? Impossible to find my account. Okay, let's try. No. Because I don't want the underscore. Okay, what in the fuck? That it. Password. Who the fuck knows what the password is? Let's try that. No. My password is modified. It's just embarrassing. See if that works. A password has been sent to confirm this. Oh my god, where? I hate this shit. Where? Password verification code. Continue. No. Check up shit. So, guys, I'm not even. Let me check on YouTube. I don't even know if I'm. In theory, I should be live streaming, but of course, who the fuck knows? Let's take a look at our channel. Deleuze Modeste. YouTube home, what a goddamn mess. No. Yeah, everyone. Hello. Deleuze philosophy sell eBay. No, dickhead. That's not me. Deleuze Modeste. Live. Is there any? Oh, yes. So, guys, I think. I'm not sure. I'm live. Sorry. I doubt anyone is even here listening to me, but the last time I think I posted not a live stream on YouTube, but a video, and that was in July, and that was before I went to South America, Cuba, Ecuador, and Chile for all of July, 4 months. Great trip. We'll talk about it, and there's so many things I would like to talk about and say, but I may. We are not like an opinion channel, and we have to that means me and you together. We can't give into all this kind of opinion shit because we all read the same things on the internet. We make our own decisions, and I just want to stick to what I can do, and that I hope is philosophy. And in the last video, which was Disarticulations 1, I mentioned a few new things, books that I came across, and as kind of a Deleuzian, we tend to kind of close ourselves up in a kind of shell and go back to dogma, and I do not want to do that, because if there's one thing I believe about Gilles Deleuze is that we have to find new things. We have to go out there and we can't sit there and be dogmatic and make it like into a cathedral, the philosophy of Gilles Deleuze. No, we have to go out there and find new things and interesting things. So what I stated in the last video, and the point, I'm live streaming, no one will be watching this, but I want to make a few notes, which I can't even get OBS to open my Pages app, because we're on Mac right now, and Mac is giving me tons of problems. But I wanted to read you an essay from this book, which I mentioned in the last video, which is, I'm going to show you, it's a great book. This is the 60s Without Apology. And obviously I am reading a certain chapter which is called, oh my god, what the heck I have, Vietnam, the Thousand Plateaux, by author is Herman Rapaport, who I've looked into, and apparently this is the only essay he's ever written. This book was published when I'm looking in second printing 1985, first printing 1984. So once again, I'll show you the opening page. This is a really, oh my god, I just lost the page. The 60s Without Apology, and beyond the text I'm reading, I would recommend to everyone, not only for this essay, but to read the whole book is, in my opinion, extremely interesting on the contribution of the 1960s to thought, to all kinds of things. So we have the paradox of the Afro-American rebellion, rock and the politics of memory, a 60s movement in the 80s, radical feminism and feminist radicalism, the ethnic question, Vietnam, French Maoism, very interesting, I read that. Periodizing the 60s by Frederick Jameson, very well known. So this is a book I would absolutely recommend. I've lost the page, and if anyone is out there with me, what my goal is to do now is take a little bit of notes on Vietnam, the Thousand Plateaux, because I still, I'm guessing, but maybe 20 years ago I came across this book, and it kind of stayed in the freezer, but it's got just so many things from a Deleuze or Guattarian perspective, and I would encourage you all to order it. I think you can find a PDF online and not so expensive. But this book is just really Herman Rapaport. I think he just hit the nail on the head, and it's strange because this is, as far as I know, I've looked at his biography, and this is the only thing he's had to read. This is the only ever thing he's written concerning Deleuze and Guattari. I read a little bit before, so I'm just gonna do like we're live streaming, so I repeat, this is completely insanely boring to you. Hang on, let me see. I have a YouTube live panel. I'll never get used to today's technology. What is my live panel saying? I have a chat. I'm going to connect so we can chat. If anyone has a question, please ask me. Oh my God, no. Oh God, I have to re-log in to get into some kind of live chat shit. So no one's going to live chat me. I didn't even announce this to... But I gotta put my credentials in so we can live chat. If anyone wants to live chat. Oh my God. We old people. I grew up with an Amiga, a Commodore 64 and an Amiga. And today I cannot stand computers anymore. I hate them. Let's see what this... What did you say? Of course that's wrong, because what in God's name? I don't... He wants a password, so I have to do... Look at how slow I write today. Yeah, and I have to cancel everything because I can't remember. Here and here. No! It doesn't accept my password. Let's try this. Up. I mean, if I got this. No. We're back on the phone. What is your freaking problem? He's sending me shit. Confirm the attempt to recover. What in God's name is going on? Anyway, I think on YouTube or live streaming, I have no fucking clue what is going on. This dude is sending me shit on my iPhone. Let's say, let's do another method. Send it. Yeah, dude. When I mail an email, they send me a secret code on my email. Okay, fantastic. I love the contemporary world. What in the fuck? Okay, so I've got a new code. Okay, perfect. Every application is opened. What in God's name is going on? Let's try this. Send. Hein? Suivant. Ma plus que merde. Ouais, c'est moi. Security. Ok, go fuck yourself. Access YouTube. Merci, c'est gentil là. Quelle flûte de merde. Okay, so anyway, I apologize because we've had to kind of reorder everything, and we're like 100% Mac now, and we are not Windows at all. And over the decades, we switched Mac to Windows to Mac to Windows, but right now we're 100% Mac, and for better for worse. And in upcoming live streams, I will explain to you why, because we actually have a lot of legal problems, but we'll sort that out. So I want to get to the source here. Vietnam, the 1,000 Plateaux, Herman Rapaport, Ian Mille Plateaux, Gilles Deleuze, and Félix Guattari ask how one can make a body without parts or organs. That is, how can one make oneself into a schizo? What is this fucking window doing? It's doing publicity for me. That is so embarrassing. Okay, so fuck YouTube. Hopefully we're streaming. Hopefully someone out there hears me. I hope so. If not, I will just take notes. So the whole issue here is, how can one make oneself a body without organs? So watch. How? Body without organs. How can one make oneself a body without organs? That is, how can one make oneself into a schizo? In French, this reads, comment se faire un corps sans organes? Easy. How does one make oneself un corps, a body sans, without organs, which strategically can be reinterpreted as, how is one to produce a corpse? We're in English here now. This is very important. Corps, French, corpse, English, different. So how can we make a corpse? English, without organs. A military corps. I'm saying corpse, but it's a military corps, like an I corp or corpse. Corpse is a military body. Our context here is obviously the war in Vietnam. So how does the unit, that's a military unit, disarticulate, dematerialize, frag? It is a military question, but also geographical, for I am thinking of the corps. I'm saying corps, which in English is written identical to, it's C-O-R-P-S, corp, which is like a body, you know? So it's a military corps body. I am thinking of the corp as corpse of Vietnam. So here we're switching from corp to corpse. Import corpse obviously is a dead body. So of Vietnam, of the 1,000 plateaus which Deleuze and Guattari pass over, the body of a country, object of dismemberment, extermination, defilement, supporting so many heterogeneous groups, cultures, languages. A third world overcoded with countless layers of political ideologies, many imports, essentially, while Buddhist monks self-destruct and children walk up to strangers with explosive charges in coke cans. The 1,000 Plateaus, Vietnam. So this is the introductory paragraph to Vietnam, and I repeat, already here, we are in 2024. It is, for me, March the 21st. Think about the war in the Ukraine, which is not exactly the same in Vietnam, but I think there are echoes from this, and then we can talk about the war, which I hope to do in upcoming podcasts in Palestine, which is different, but as far as the war in Ukraine, I think that it's essentially not too different, but we have to keep in mind geography, because Vietnam had no mountains. Everything was very low. Vietnam was substantially a plateau, even if it did have hills, a few mountains. We can consider that a plateau. Ukraine, I think there are important parallel issues. Vietnam, during the time, had so many articulations and disarticulations. Buddhism, all kinds of religions and cultures and languages, the French. I mean, this was, according to Rapaport, this articulated and at the same time disarticulating Plateaux during the war at Vietnam. So, what I say matters much less than what I read, trust me. In the mountains, there you feel free. A voice says in the wasteland, but not in the plateaus, not in the Nam, that rhizomatic landscape webbed with paddies, bomb craters, villages, jungles, camps, roads, and rivers. What amounted to an evasion of any concrete sense of territory. Okay. I'm going to go ahead reading because I repeat, it's much more articulate and beautiful than anything I can say. But this is, according to Deleuze Guattari, a plateau. No, there's no beginning, there's no end. There's no center. There's no north, east, west, east. It's a war machine. It's like a submarine, which Deleuze and Guattari used as an example of a submarine. There's nothing in the Nam. It's a rhizomatic landscape, webbed with paddies, bomb craters, villages, jungles, camps, roads, and rivers. What amounted to an evasion of any concrete sense of territory. So, once again, we have to think here about territory. Think about World War I, World War II. Everyone is World War I, classic example. We are making trenches which are lines for the territory. The front is here. We dig trenches here. The territory we want to conquer is there. In the Nam, in Vietnam, there was no sense of territory or front lines. Everything was completely mobile. Everything was completely in movement. So, the Bailey Bridge, to us it was a sign of peace, a certainty that we could learn to live with. For what we coded by day, they decoded by night. So anyone that's seen Apocalypse Now knows that they built the bridge by day, and the North Vietnamese by night bombed and destroyed the bridge. And we thought maybe they're trying to let us know they are like us, or better a bridge than a rocket attack. Better this game of mastery. We learned to code the Orient as if it were a blank map. So once again, the point in the war in Vietnam is, let's be frank here, and there's so many examples of this in history, is that it is completely foreign to the Western European American mentality. It is completely different. Especially as we will see for bodies without organs, because in the Orient there's a completely different sense of that. There's a different sense of warfare. There's a different sense of coding. I mean, the Orient and the Western world are completely different, and therefore, in all of these cases, we have a confrontation, unfortunately, between two worlds which have completely different concepts, ideas of warfare. So, as we said, we learned to code between, I'm not sure how you call them, the Orient, as if it were a blank map, with our hill numbers, nicknames, strategies, zones, mines, camp sites to that code. The Orient with concertina wire was to, I'm going to say that again, I don't want to be, concertina wire was to enter into a dialogue with another who would allow us our code if we really wanted it, but only for half of the day, as if Western territories could be reduplicated over a rhizomatic landscape that had seen decades of deterioration. So, not so difficult to explain, no? The Vietnam, for decades, with the French and other forces in Cambodia, was, from... we have to remember that for Deleuze and Guattari, a rhizome, a plateau is in movement. It's constantly in movement, okay? And then this is Vietnam. In those years, like they're saying it, this is a beautiful phrase, in my opinion. In the mountains, there you feel free, a voice says, in the wasteland, but not in the plateaus, not in the Nam, no? In the mountains, you are outside of the movement. You are free. You are calm. There's nothing happening in the mountains, but in the plateaus, in the Nam, there's constant movement. There are paddies, bomb craters, villages, jungles, camps, roads. There's Buddhism. There's French culture. There are Catholics. There are Christians. Everything. It's the plateau is. That's what it is. And that's why I think that Herman Rapaport, even if he hasn't written other things on Disarticulations, just absolutely understood everything. It's this plateau of continual movement. I know no one's watching, and I have to go to sleep now, so we just have a few minutes. But I read today an article, not an article on YouTube. I found a video, which I forgot about, by Jean-Luc Godard, who you should know as to be the Swiss filmmaker, one of the Nouvelle Vague in France, a revolutionary filmmaker. And in 1993 he wrote a text together with a short film around 2 minutes, involving, the name was Je vous salue Sarajevo. So that was Sarajevo in 1993. And right now I won't get into it, but he wrote a very, very beautiful text which accompanies the video, and it's not so different, in my opinion, from this essay on Vietnam. In a certain sense, in geography, let's leave geography aside, but in a certain sense, in the 1990s, the war in ex-Yugoslavia, in Bosnia, Herzegovina, echoes, I think, very strongly the war in Vietnam, and I do believe that Jean-Luc Godard would kind of sort of agree with that, although we're in two very different epochs in two very different times. But once again, we have the notion of the plateau uh, the notion of a constant movement, which is articulation and disarticulation of the territory according to, regional cultural embodiments, and that's a much, much more difficult issue to deal with, but hopefully in the upcoming nights, if anyone watches this, I will get into that. So let's just do one last time. Let's go back to Vietnam, the Thousand Plateaus, Rapaport. I'm reading, a plateau is always in the midst, in the middle. As Deleuze and Guattari would say, neither the beginning nor the end. A rhizome is made up of plateaus. This notion of the plateau is borrowed from Gregory Bateson's Steps to an Ecology of Mind and signifies a level without climax. Not too difficult. A development of intensities which never break or crest. A night with the star scope. Nothing can be seen on the tree line. No climax can be reached. Nothing comes to a head. And here we're talking about Vietnam. The stifling heat, the crushing permanence of tropical conditions, and the probability that nothing will happen, it is already late in the war, simply draws out whatever one feels to points of boredom beyond conscious definition, to a meditation on death, whose double is the uncertainty of knowing whether one hears anymore or not, whether the eyes can see, whether the mind processes, or the self is still reacting. So, not so complicated. You are there towards the end of the war in Vietnam. Excuse me. You're in the jungle, and the Western world is used to big battles. It's used to Napoleon. It's used to Hitler, to the United States conquering, whatever. But in Vietnam, it's completely different. The soldiers had no front line. And we'll get into this the next time with technology. They had helicopters, and they were 100% mobile, so they could go anywhere in the country, but there's no front line. You could just go wherever you wanted. That's the plateau, no? The plateau is complicated because the plateau in itself is full of articulations, disarticulations, geography, complicated, but at the same time, in Vietnam, there were no front lines. You would travel in platoons who were connected by radio, which will lead eventually to the internet. And this is also one of the points why I'm bringing this up, because it's very relevant today. But they would travel in the plateau. You could go anywhere in the whole plateau, which is Vietnam. And as the book says, the American soldiers became nomads, true nomads in the Deleuzian sense. Why? Because that's what the technology demanded of them, meaning in that period, helicopters, movement demanded that the soldier, the human being, became a nomad because technology demanded that they be sent in this great plateau, this great rhizome, being articulated and disarticulated, always in a constant state of movement. That's the point. And the American soldiers would go here, and there's no front line. There's no, you don't win here, you don't conquer this. No, you're sent into this plateau. And I'm gonna close here, but I want to finish this off here. Very important. This is also the idea of the plateau, and this is Bateson. A good Deleuzian should know a bit about Jeremy Bateson, but in Balinese society, Bateson writes, there is a lack of climax. And now we have to go back and think about what I just read. These are the soldiers that would sit there for weeks and months waiting for the enemy, and nothing would happen. But at the same time, they were under this intense pressure, psychological pressure. Is something going to happen? Is something not going to happen? At the same time, I'm going to read again, the stifling heat. The stifling heat. You can't drink the water. The crushing permanence of tropical conditions and the probability that nothing would happen simply draws out whatever one feels to points of boredom beyond conscious definition. So you literally go absolutely crazy, out of your mind, because nothing happens. You're a soldier, you're waiting for a battle, but there's no battle. You don't know where the front line is. No one ever knew where the front lines were. And you're sitting there in the heat, in the jungle, you're suffering, you can't breathe. Every day it continues. It's a boredom beyond imagination, and that completely depletes you in the plateau of Vietnam. So let me finish this. In Balinese society, Bateson writes, there is a lack of climax. In general, the lack of climax is characteristic for Balinese music, drama, and other art forms. Could the same be said about the Viet Cong, that for them the art of war is anticlimactic, just a movement derived from the logic of its formal structure and modifications of intensity determined by the duration and progress of the working out of these formal relations. So that's a very complicated sentence, and I'm going to underline it, and we're going to look absolutely into that. But and we've been on too long. I'm going to close down now, but just to go further, in Balinese society, what generally happens is, I'm not sure today, but historically, the mother, and here Freud, Lacan, we have to get into psychology, unfortunately, to understand this, but with Deleuze and Guattari, if you don't get into psychology and psychoanalysis, you're not going to go too far. So traditionally, the Balinese mother would stimulate her child to the point of climax, but she would never allow her child to reach the climax. Now, I think it's perfectly obvious what the climax is, but this is an example of the complete difference in a very concrete, practical way of the Oriental world and the Western world. We've had so many wars, examples, etc., no? So once again, the Balinese mother once, I cannot say now because I don't have that experience, would stimulate her child erotically to the point of climax, but never let him reach the climax. So once again, Bateson, very, very, very important for Deleuze and Guattari. Rapaport is, in my opinion, very correctly giving us a very, very concrete example of what a rhizome is, of what a plateau is, because Deleuze and Guattari are concrete, if nothing else. We have the virtual, and we can talk about that, but we have the concrete at the same time. Everything happens together, no? And this is, in my opinion, a beautiful, and one of the very rare and few examples where you find a book that will literally tell you concretely that Vietnam was the 1,000 plateaus. And then I hope to go forward with this. We'll see, but Afghanistan, yeah, when was it? 2000 and what? 2005. Was Afghanistan a plateau? Was Iraq a plateau? Was Libya a plateau? I don't know. I'm not so sure. I doubt that in in many ways, and that is also why I hope next time I will show you the short, and in the meantime, if you look at it yourselves, it's much better. La Courtométrie, it's a small film, 2 minutes by Jean-Luc Godard, the master of the Nouvelle Vague, of the French Revolution in cinema. And it's called Je vous salue Sarajevo. It's just 2 minutes. You'll find it on YouTube. But what's much more important is the text he wrote, which I think in a very roundabout way we can kind of bring that back to the logic I'm trying to make. There is living art. That's what Godard is trying to say, no? We live in a world which hates people who are the exception, who are living art. And I think in Deleuzian terms, we can almost kind of define that as the plateau, or the rhizome. And it's kind of We would have to work and spend a lot of time and see if that makes any kind of sense. I don't think anybody is even watching me right now, but I'm happy to kind of throw this stuff out there, and I'm currently working on my master's in philosophy, but obviously my teachers are not gonna appreciate this kind of shit. They just want to hear me say like, Hegel is awesome, and what the fuck, whatever. But life is life. We can't complain. We just have to go forward according to our forces, and if we have to die, we must die a glorious death. That's all that's important. So once again, my friends, if anyone's watching, I appreciate you. And I think, unfortunately for you, if anyone tunes in the next few days, I'm going to be back because I just kind of love doing this stuff. So, bros, it's been a pleasure. And hope to see you all soon next time. Bye-bye. Take care.